Get your scuba gear on. Let's go swim with the dolphins.
Oh, here they come! Dolphins are perfectly adapted to their environment. They have nothing to do but swim and play all day. They have massive brains. They're incredibly intelligent. If dolphins bought insurance, they'd choose High House.
High House Insurance don't pay to be on comparison websites, so your premiums are better value. Try us and see. Call 606 552. High House, local reliable insurance. High Street, Selsey.
Hello and welcome to Selsey Internet Radio. In this week's show, we've got What's On, which is our weekly look at what's going on in and around the village for your education and entertainment. We have a couple of recipes from Keith's Kitchen. We've also got some gardening tips for you to save you sitting around getting fat and idle like me. We're sorry about that. We speak to Jill Sturdy from the Carers Association, and Mike Nichols gives us an update on things going on down at the bridge. Top this off with a bit of music and weather, and there we go, that's the show. And firstly, as always, we catch up with What's On. Welcome to What's On, our weekly look at what's going on in and around the village for the coming week for your entertainment and education. And on Monday the 9th, well, Selsey Cinema Club are showing The Age of Adeline tonight at 7:30, starring Harrison Ford. It's a story of a young woman who, after a freak accident, has not aged since she was 29 and is now 107 years old. Well, I know how she feels. I'm not 29, I'm near 107 years old. Right, on Tuesday the 10th, we've got girls football tonight at the Academy from 6 p.m, or there's netball from 7 p.m, so I guess you just turn up there and make your wants known, as it were. Wednesday the 11th at 7:30, if you'd like to go along to school in School Lane, you can take part in carpet bowls. And if you'd like any more information on that, why not have a look on their website, which is www.selseycarpetbowls.co.uk. You can get all the information you require from there. And Wednesday's going to be a very special day for me personally, because I'm off up to London with my dad, who's 93, an ex-Royal Navy, and he's being presented, or being made a Knight of the Légion d'Honneur by the French, so we've got to go to the French Embassy and collect his medal, so that's going to be a very special day for me. On Thursday the 12th, well, the Puzzle Library is open today at 14 Green Lane, where you can call any time between 10 and 4 and borrow a puzzle, and it just costs you £1 a month. Now, cheap's that, 25p a week for entertainment. Incredibly cheap. On Friday the 13th, who don't go anywhere then, don't go anywhere Friday the 13th, stay indoors. Right, on Friday the 13th, the Selsey Horticultural Society are meeting in the Selsey Centre at 7:15, that's in the evening, but a hands-on practical evening held by Amanda Cope, and new members are always welcome for that. On Saturday the 14th, the first Selsey Scout group will be selling bric-a-brac, books, etc. at School Lane, and anyone with anything to donate, please contact Debs on 01243 607 409. And also on Saturday, the third Selsey Lifeboats Darts competition. And this is held in the evening at the Lifeboat Inn at 6:30. Entrance is £5 with a charity shield and £100 to the winner and £50 to the runners-up. So it's even worth coming second. On Sunday the 15th, we have live music once again at the Seal. Now this is from 3 till 6 p.m. and this week's band are called Jazz and All That, and that probably tells you something about the kind of music that they do. So get along and have a nice restful Sunday afternoon with a couple of pints or whatever takes your fancy and listen to some fabulous music. Now on Monday the 16th, the Lunch Movie Club, for the more senior folk, are showing Mamma Mia at 1 p.m. today, and it's only £5.50, which includes a 2-course lunch followed by tea or coffee. How bad's that? Can you tell those people that run the cinema in Chichester about getting £5.50 for lunch and a movie? Booking's essential for obvious reasons, so ring the Selsey Information Exchange office on 01243 201 616. And that's the end of this week's delve into some of the things that are going on in and around the village for you for the coming week. But just to add a bit of something that's not going on, and it's not going on any longer because the trial's finished, and that's the Saturday rubbish collection at East Beach car park. Now, apparently the council decided that it was a non-runner that didn't work, or whatever the decision was, and that's no longer going to take place. So it's going to revert back to Fridays, I think 8 till 3, and no Saturday collections down there. And because we're in an upbeat kind of mood just at the minute, there's a piece of music for you called Loosehead Home. I bet you were tapping your feet away there. I certainly was. Well, we've got a few gardening tips for you now, so you can sit down and have a rest and listen to these few tips and get your breath back. Now, obviously, there's an awful lot of fallen leaves about, so remove them, especially from lawns and ponds, most importantly, and from your flower beds. Just lift all your leaves and clean them all up, get them out of the way. Now, if you've got patio containers, or containers anywhere actually, but put them onto pot feet, and that prevents them from standing in still water and waterlogging. If you're putting out tulips for a spring display next year, well, now's the time to plant those. Prune the roses to prevent windrock, because it's going to get windy, that we can be sure of. Plant out your winter bedding. Cover brassicas with nettings if your pigeons are becoming a problem. Now, insulate outdoor containers from frost, and you can do that with bubble wrap, but you've got to have willpower, because if you haven't got any willpower, there'll be no bubbles left in the bubble wrap, because everybody gets a piece of bubble wrap and they want to pop the bubbles. And of course, when the bubbles are popped, it's no good for insulating anything with at all. So resist the temptation to pop all the bubbles and wrap your plants in, and that'll protect them well during the winter. Now, you can stop winter moth damage to fruit trees using grease bands around the trunks. So put these grease bands in. We spoke about this the other week, because I still haven't worked out why the moths don't just fly above the bands, but there you go. And put out bird food to encourage winter birds into the garden, because the birds are going to be in for a bit of a terrible time if the weather forecasters are correct and we get the kind of snow and cold weather that they're predicting. And of course, this time of the year, November, ideal time to use a seasonal bonfire, and where and when it's allowed, because there are regulations governing bonfires. And you can light a bonfire and dispose of some of your excess debris, especially stuff that is not really fit for composting. So that's a few little tips, something for you to be getting on with rather than sitting around on your derriere. And we'll have some more gardening tips next month. Now it's time to introduce my first guest for today, and that guest is Jill Sturdy from Selsey Carers. Now, I believe that's the right title. Jill, no doubt you'll put me right on it if it's not.
It's the full title is Selsey and District Carers Support Group. That's our full title.
Ah, so that actually tells me something. That probably answers one of the questions, is, are you carers to go out care for people, or are you carers for carers?
We are there for carers because carers need somebody to look out for them and to help them, and that's why we're there for them to drop in to the drop-in information centre. And also we offer respite, which is we have a gardener, we have a chiropodist, and we have outings, because these carers need some respite themselves.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I've seen my own wife go through it with her mum and her dad.
Yes.
And rest is most welcome at any time. You need it to recharge your batteries. It's a full-on, full-time situation for those people, looking after somebody.
Yeah.
Now, how long has Selsey Carers been going?
Into our 15th year. It was started in 2000 by somebody called Janet Harris, and she started it because she was a carer, and I think she was very lonely, and so she took on other carers. It started sort of at the Seal Hotel, or first in her front room, then they used to meet at the Seal Hotel, and then it got bigger and bigger. And we now have eight or nine, I think it is, trustees. And
it's a big organisation.
Yeah, we got between 250 and 300 carers, former carers and carers. Because when somebody's loved one dies or is no longer being cared for, they can remain with us for as long as they want. And after 2 years, we ask for a donation. Otherwise, it's free. We don't ask any money.
Now, yours is the carers shop, because we have a plethora of charity shops in Selsey, and yours is the one on the corner of East Street, is it? Crown?
We are on the corner of East Street, and we are actually not a charity shop. We are a drop-in and information centre. And
I stand corrected.
Yes, where people can come in at any time and have a coffee. And sometimes a carer needs to get away and just to talk to somebody, get it off their chest. And what is said in carers stays in carers.
Well, yeah, it's an excellent facility for people, because quite often, especially in an area like Selsey, where you may well be looking after an invalid parent or a parent that's not not particularly well, and you may have moved down here, which a lot of people do, and left the bulk of your family somewhere else.
Yes.
So you may not have family support.
No.
So to get some support, or just somebody to talk to, somebody to unburden yourself on occasionally, must be a tremendous relief for them.
Yeah, and it's quite surprising in the summer, the number of visitors that come in, and the one thing they say is, oh, I wish we had something like this where we lived. Because we are an independent charity. We're not linked to the other charities. We have to raise all the funds ourselves through grants, car boots, shop sales, anything that we can raise money. We raise money because we have to pay for the rent for our shop, and absolutely. Also for our admin officer.
And we were chatting about that earlier on, about the needs for a paid admin officer now. Because most charities seem to be going down that route. They need somebody to do it, and they need somebody to do it full time. Yeah,
and also filling in grant forms is very laborious and it's hard because of the time it takes. I know that Fiona spent 2 days filling in a grant form, and without success.
Oh dear. Yeah. Now, are you funded from anywhere else?
No, we're funded. Only if we apply for grants. We're funded by West Sussex County Council have given us money. Council in Selsey give us money. But again, we have to apply. Everything that we need from other people, we have to actually ask for. Grants don't just fall into your lap.
I'm sure they don't. I think it's a competition of who can fill the grant forms in best, as it were.
Well, yes.
Somebody looks at it and says, oh, I like that one. Give them a few, Bob. There doesn't seem to be any other rhyme or reason to most of it.
One of our biggest problems getting grants is for what we call core costs, for the rent, admin officer, and basics. You can get money for a project, but you can't create a project if you have nowhere to actually carry it out.
Yes, that makes sense
Yes,
as well. But,
yeah.
I mean, again, the problem is in Selsey, of course, is there are so many charities. It seems to be a sort of vicious circle. We've got a lot of charity shops, so they all get a little bit from, or they've got people that prefer to give to one charity or another charity. Because there's so many of them, that divides up the wealth of donations, as it were.
It does.
And so the charities are almost fighting to get their little bit off of people. And it must be extremely difficult to prove the worth of your cause against the worth of somebody else's cause.
Well, see, carers are hidden because people don't see carers, and everybody believes that, well, I'm a carer, and the number of people that come in and say, well, of course, I'm a wife, that's what I'm expected to do, or I'm a husband and that's what I'm expected to do. Well, we're there to help, and if we can relieve that sort of stress or that feeling of nobody cares, then that's one of the reasons we're there. I mean, we run a summer tea for over 100 people, and we're just in the process of organising. It used to be called our Christmas lunch, but so many people are busy round about Christmas that now we call it a winter warmer lunch and have it in late January or February, and we do for over 100 people on that.
Well, that sounds excellent. And if you can get 100 people turned up for that, maybe that'll raise a few bob in itself.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't raise any
No,
money
because
at all.
we actually provide it.
Oh, I see.
So we have to get the money from somebody to support it.
To put it on.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, have you got any fundraising events coming up in the not too distant future that we should know about?
Well, winter's quiet for us because the car boots are finished. And as a very small charity, and of course trustees are all getting older, it's very hard to find something that's very different to actually do to raise money. The shop raises money. We've got a Carers' Rights Day. I think it's the 20th of November. I believe it's a Friday. And that doesn't raise money, but donations, anybody that's willing to give, we're always pleased to accept. We are at the moment working with a bigger organisation called Crossroads.
Oh, yes.
And they have registered carers that go out to help the carers. And we're working with them. They pay for some of our coach trips. We're just organising one for the carers to go to West Key.
Oh, right.
We take 2 coaches, and one for disabled people who can remain in wheelchairs. And we have another bigger coach. But we do ask for a deposit, because if somebody pays a deposit, they feel more inclined to come.
Yes, we've been down that road many, many times. If you get them to put a few bob down, they won't waste that few bob. They'll turn up. But otherwise, they'll just find some reason not to go on the day.
They do.
And if they're not in fear of losing any money, then they'll just do that. Some people, not everybody, of course. And there are always things that happen that you can't help.
Yeah.
But
it's a vicious circle.
Yes, it is.
Because people, that's why we charge a deposit for our Christmas lunch, because some people just think, I won't bother. But once we've committed to that lunch, then we have to pay the full cost.
Yeah, that's right. And I know full well, and from other people that I've spoken to, that it does happen quite often where people just, if you don't charge them a deposit, and you don't necessarily want to go down that road, but if you don't make them pay a deposit, then on the day they'll decide, well, the weather's a bit gloomy, I can't be bothered, and they won't go. And you've had to commit to, so many meals or what have you, transport for so many people, if it's a coach tour or what have you, and so you end up having to lose money because you're paying out money.
We do run a taxi. We do also do a taxi service for people to get to and from the doctors, and we have just got a grant in for people who have long time treatments that have to keep going to Portsmouth or Southampton or Worthing, and we've got a grant to fund some of that for people, because that's quite hard.
Yes, that would be a huge benefit because once again, if your family are not around you, or if you've only got one family member that's down here living with you, and that family member is your carer, it's very difficult for them to get even to places like St Richard's.
Oh, yes.
But if you, and I know of somebody personally that recently that was in hospital in Southampton. Now to make that journey to Southampton and back every day is difficult.
You've only got to have people that have got to have radiotherapy for 5 weeks.
Exactly that, yes.
Up to QA.
Yeah.
It is hard, very hard. But carers are very proud people.
Yes, yeah. They're usually very, in the main, quite private.
They never think
they do what they do.
But they never think that they deserve these things in respite.
Well, no, they probably. I mean, I suppose it depends on your makeup, but you think, as you say, some people say, "Well, I'm a wife."
That's right.
That's surely what all wives do.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, or I'm a husband, and surely that's that's what I do. She's my wife, and I've got to take care of her. But it does become very difficult, and of course, as you get older, as a couple, perhaps, and one of you is not fit, and the other one may not be very fit as well.
Yeah.
So yes, I can see it. It's a very difficult thing, and for carers to have somewhere to go and just get a little bit of respite, they must really appreciate it. They would know the value of it. So.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
Contact details, Jill.
Well, you can always drop. People can drop in, and we have forms to fill in just to register you. It costs nothing to register and to come and talk to us. We do have an email address, and I hope I've got this right. It's selseycarers@btinternet.com, and the telephone number is 603 602. I do hope I've got that right.
Well, I'm sure we can put the record straight a bit later on. Well, thanks very much for coming in and opening our eyes a little bit to what Selsey Carers is about.
It's been a pleasure.
And may it gain strength and carry on for many, many years to come.
Yep, let's hope so. And thank you.
Thank you very much. And we go across to the kitchen now. And once again from the kitchen this week, we have a couple of winter warmers. And the first one is bacon and bean soup. And that's to serve 4 people. And this is what we need. 2 tablespoons of olive oil or sunflower oil, 120 grams of bacon lardons or chopped streaky bacon, 1 medium onion diced, 1 to 2 garlic cloves chopped, 1 large stick of celery diced, 1 medium carrot diced, 1 400-gram can of chopped tomatoes, 700 ml of chicken stock made with a cube. You make it how you like, missus, but cube's easiest. 1 400-gram can of butter beans, drained and rinsed, a handful of chopped basil, well, that's optional, but it does add something to it, and salt and freshly ground black pepper. And this is what we do. Heat the olive oil in a medium saucepan and add the lardons and cook for about 3 minutes until the fat begins to run, and then add the onion, garlic, celery and carrot. Cook over a medium heat for about 5 minutes until beginning to soften. Chuck in the tomatoes and stock, stir well and bring to the boil and then simmer for 20 minutes. Stir in the rinsed beans and reheat until boiling. Then stir in the basil. Taste and adjust the seasoning, a bit more pepper or a bit more salt, whichever you fancy, and serve with some good crusty bread. What a wonderful idea. I'm coming round to yours for dinner. Thank you. our second winter warmer is homemade French onion soup with cheesy croutons. Rather lovely this, nice and tasty, especially in the winter. And this is what we need. Now this will serve 4 people, and what we want is 15 grams of butter, 1 tablespoonful of vegetable oil, 750 grams of onions, peeled and thinly sliced, 1 tablespoonful of plain flour, 2 beef or vegetable stock cubes, 1 part baked bread roll, half a teaspoonful of Dijon mustard, and 50 grams of Emmental. And this is what we do. Heat the butter and oil in a large saucepan and fry the onions over a low heat for about 20 minutes. Stir them occasionally till they're very tender and dark golden brown in colour. Sprinkle the flour over the onions and stir for 1 minute. Dissolve the stock cubes in 1 litre of boiling water and gradually pour the stock into the onions until thickened and smooth. Now simmer for about 30 minutes and then taste to check, make sure it's right for seasoning. And if it's not, add some more. And for the croutons, cut the roll into slices and toast. Now, don't burn it, just toast it. And sprinkle with the cheese and float on top of individual bowls of soup and place under a hot grill until the cheese is just beginning to melt. How tasty is that, Ed? So simple. So simple, even I could make it. Well, my next guest in the studio today is Mike Nichols, and Mike's going to be giving us some updates on what's happening down at the bridge.
Hello, Keith.
Morning,
Thank you
Mike.
for the opportunity. For those who are not sure about the bridge, it's a youth support centre situated behind the library and on the edge of the site of the Academy School. And we operate all the days of the week, offering services and clubs and activities, not just for the benefit of young people, but for their families too. Recently, we've been developing, in addition to our mediation service, which helps people when there are fallouts and relationship difficulties, a full counselling service. So the Selsey counselling service has now been launched. 5 of us are available to serve people in this way, in listening and helping folk to think through issues in their lives. We are mainly at the moment helping and supporting young people at various points of their need, but we also are supporting parents who come and speak with us, and also other adults where there are particular needs, where they find it helpful to talk to someone in a trusted and confidential way locally. One of the things that we're trying to do in the service we offer, which is fully engaged at the moment during the normal working hours of 8:30 till 5, is to offer increasing availability when adults are home from work. So our counselling service is available in the evening between 5 and 8 o'clock, as is the service that we call Resolve, to help people where mediation is needed, a go-between to help settle differences. And if there are folk who would like to take advantage of these services, you're very welcome to ring. You'll appreciate that with new services, we sometimes have issues of capacity, so that at the moment we probably have as many young people as we're able to support with quality at present. But we do have evening space for adults, and if you do feel that you would benefit in this way, then you're welcome to contact us.
And this is new services that's being offered, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been granted some money from the National Lottery to develop this in Selsey, and it just means that in addition to the other things that we're able to offer to support and help people, this counselling service is now available locally. We're in close touch with partner services in Chichester, where there are specialist agencies available, but where we're able to help people locally, on their doorstep, as it were, then that service is now available.
Okay, that's brilliant. And the contact number to phone is 01243 608 943. Well, thanks for coming in, Mike, and just giving us that update on the new services available at the bridge. And I'm sure, well, from what you were saying, that it's already busy and it's going to get busier still. So I wish you well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
The Weather Report.
And there we go with this week's weather. Well, Monday's going to be foggy or misty, despite the winds being quite high. They're 22 mile an hour wind speed. Temperature's about 14 degrees. It's gradually chilling down now. Tuesday, much the same. Cloudy, 10% chance of rain, so very little chance of rain. Wind speed's 18 miles an hour. Wednesday, well, Wednesday's going to get some rain. There's about 30% chance of getting a shower of rain on Wednesday. Temperature's about 14 degrees. Winds steady southwest at 17 miles an hour. Thursday, well, the sun's breaking through again and we're going to get some broken sunshine. 14 degrees, winds picking up again to 18 mile an hour. Friday, 12 degrees. Now, it's quite cold on Friday and foggy and misty. And wind speed up to 25 mile an hour. And Saturday, well, Saturday's back to a bit of broken sunshine. Wind speed's 18 miles an hour from the southwest. So all in all, a bit of a windy week. Now, if you think you can help with Selsey Internet Radio, if you'd like to get involved, by all means contact us. We're looking for people to help us out. And you can contact us by texting or phoning 0755119 3019, or you can email us at studio.selseyinternetradio@gmail.com. And that's it for this week. It just leaves me to say, on behalf of our producer John Fletcher, thank you very much for joining us. And this is Keith Barnes saying, thanks for coming. See you again soon. Bye bye now.